in the house this morning, Dave. We got Sam Johnson,
We do
District
indeed.
6 candidate. Good morning, Sam.
Morning, Sam.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it. Truth be told, both Lance and I live in District 6. So
Fantastic.
it's on the line.
It's on.
This one's
It's on.
personal,
Yeah.
as they say.
That's right. Sam, tell us about yourself. Who's Sam Johnson? What have you been doing? Family? What do you do for fun? Just all around kind of get to know you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was born and raised here in Yakima. Graduated from East Valley High School in 2011 with my diploma and my Associates of Arts degree from YVC at the same time. I did the Running Start program.
Nice.
My girlfriend at the time, who was from West Valley, we both went to Seattle, went to University of Washington, earned my bachelor's in business administration with a specialization in finance. After that, went to work for the state of Washington Department of Financial Institutions as a financial examiner, regulating all of our state chartered banks. So that's your Banner Bank, your Home Street Bank, performing the annual examinations on those.
So he's had your wife under observation for some time.
Right. My wife works at U.S. Bank.
This is actually a sting, guys. From there, we're still living up in Seattle. My wife and I got married, and then we were getting ready to have a kid and buy a house, and we both wanted to come back to a place we loved, both where we grew up here in Yakima, so we moved back.
Isn't that great? Good
It
for
is.
you guys.
We're very excited. We're very happy to be able to do that.
That's fantastic to hear.
Purchased a house out in West Valley, and I went to work for Celerity Credit Union, held multiple jobs there. Then I had an opportunity to start a small business with a couple of friends. We did some small business consulting. Did that for a little over a year, but then, I had a 2-year-old. Bank of the West reached out and had an opportunity that just provided more stability for me and my family. So I took that while I was there, and during the pandemic, I finished up my MBA from WSU with a specialization in finance. And then I recently, early this year, went back to work with the state of Washington Department of Financial Institutions, where I started my career, this time with the Division of Credit Unions, so doing, BECU and places like that, GISA, HAPO. And I was very excited. They made an exception for that I can stay in Yakima. And I'm the only employee that doesn't live on the west side for them.
I'll be darned.
Wow,
So when they
that's
say
very cool.
follow the money, you'll probably run across his footprint
Yeah, exactly.
along the way somewhere.
Exactly.
Somehow.
Man, you're the man with the numbers. Well, why did you, with all that on your plate, why did you decide to run for city council?
Yeah, it's a great question. There's really 3 things that came up. The first, I looked at city council, and recent city councils, and I thought that having somebody with the kind of financial experience and business background that I have would be a real asset to the city. Number 2, and I've heard this as I've been out talking to people on the campaign trail in the community. They're fed up with the way city council has been interacting with each other and just the general decorum. And I feel like I have the right personality. I work with people from all different backgrounds, obviously, throughout my career, to be able to, hopefully bring people together and rise above that. And number 3, my son's 4 years old now, and we moved back here because we love this city, and I want to be part of making Yakima the best version of itself, not only for him, but for every family and every kid.
One of the things that you ask, Lance, is about political considerations. And the reason I'm trusting you're about to ask that. And I just thought that I would
I guess I am.
I would lay down some covering fire for you right now,
Okay,
as we
go.
say.
Okay, go.
Because one of the reasons, I think, for part of that squabbling and fighting is is personalities true, but I think it's personalities as an expression of wildly differing politics. Yakima, if you look at our voting history, is a 60-40 conservative, liberal sort of place. And depending where you're at on those scales, it wouldn't be too far of a stretch to realize that Yakima could in some ways be as divided as the rest of the country, far left, far right, or even moderately so. And so when you think of some of the people that have been involved in the squabbles and the poor behavior, bad discourse, a lot of that's their personal beliefs coming through an unmodified personality. So we always want to find out a little bit because you bring your politics with you, even though it's a nonpartisan job. If you put a cat and a dog together, if they're both well trained, they're still cats and dogs. So just out of clarity for the public where everybody stands, I think is one of the reasons we're doing this. So, Mr. Tormey, I yield now the floor to the junior senator from Tankara.
From Tankara. How would you describe yourself politically?
Yeah. So look, Dave, you said it right there. It is a nonpartisan position, right?
Right.
And I do believe that anybody that actively tries to bring national party politics onto the Yakima City Council, the only thing that's going to happen is create a more divisive environment and stifle any progress that could be made. And quite frankly, that's what the community members I've been out talking to are sick of.
Sure.
Now, what you said is also true. Of course, everybody has their own personal beliefs or political leanings, right? Throughout my career, I've worked with people of all different backgrounds and all different political beliefs. I'm in the financial sector, right? That attracts a certain type of person. I've worked as a small business owner, and in my various nonprofits, that attracts a certain type of person. So I've been able to work with people from all backgrounds to achieve whatever goals we're trying to accomplish or get a job done. And so when I decided to run for Yakima City Council, I made the conscious decision, and I had to tell myself this, and I know this, that I'm not running to represent my personal beliefs. I'm not running to represent Democrats or Republicans. I'm running to represent the interests of District 6 and the interests of Yakima. And quite frankly, if I'm able to help City Council and city government provide essential government services at an exceptional quality, and we're able to help create a business environment where small businesses can thrive, then the community members of District 6 and the community members of Yakima aren't going to care if I'm Democratic or Republican.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. We saw, and not to dwell on the past because you represent new generation going forward, but all of a sudden, national political issues of immigration flights and climate change and some of those other things started to show up in council, and I think that caused divisiveness, that caused concern by the community, since those weren't necessarily the best interests of Yakima. So to say that's my focus and that's what I'm doing, I think speaks well of where you start out at anyway. So
Thank you.
Yeah. What else there, Mr. Chormy?
I was just gonna, I don't know if I'm happy with the answer, but that's okay. I understand. And I guess as long as you keep the politics out and do the city's business, that's all we all ask anyway. And I guess that's what other people are asking door to door. When you're going door to door, what are they telling you that they want solved? I mean, is it with District 6? We've heard with all the other districts, violence.
Right.
Are they mentioning violence? What are you hearing from your folks that you knock on the doors?
Absolutely. So there's really two things that I've been hearing the most as I go knock on doors. The first, economic development, right? They want to help Yakima create a positive business environment for small businesses. And we want to revitalize downtown, right? We live in District 6, but of course we want to go downtown. We want to spend our money. We want to hang out down there.
Yeah.
And that speaks really well to my background in finance and business. To be able to help bring new fiscal ideas, new fiscal policies to Yakima City Council to help make that happen. The second thing that I've been hearing a lot about is violence, right? And one of the questions I do get asked going door to door is, do you support defunding the police? And of course, I do not support defunding the police. Let me be clear with that. I think that defunding is an extreme response, and I very rarely believe that extreme responses are the right response. I think that police are asked to do a lot. Asked to do too much, and they need help, and they need support from other organizations and groups to help them get their job done the right way. Just on Wednesday, I met with the executive director at the Dispute Resolution Center of Yakima. They have a program called Walkabout Yakima, which is a partnership with YPD, faith organizations, Yakima County Prosecutor's Office, and mental health professionals. And what they do is YPD and them work together to identify high-risk community members who are at risk of either reoffending or offending for the first time. And they provide 360 compassionate, community-driven, and evidence-based care to help lift them out of that life of criminality, because that's what they need, right? And it's been incredibly successful so far, and I was talking to them about ways that if I'm elected, how I can help. I can be a proponent for them on Yakima City Council, and we can provide additional support to them. Right now, they're fully funded by federal and state dollars, but at some point, and there might be other ways that the Yakima City Council can help with that to help reduce crime and reduce gang violence in our community.
Were you surprised at those answers when you knocked on doors about their concerns?
I don't think so. I think the ideas of economic development and violence, permeate throughout the city.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's on everybody's mind because, to solve violence and solve a lot of our problems, provide those essential government services, create positive business environments, we need money, right? And in order to get money, we need a positive economic development program so that we can have spending and increase our revenue via taxes and other sources, and solve those issues.
District 6 doesn't show a lot of problems on our surface with homelessness, but it's out there and it's part of the picture. And a lot of people that we've talked to already in districts 2 and 4 mentioned affordable housing and things like that. People I think need to realize that the city's job isn't to build housing for
Right.
people. Where do you stand on efforts underway or that should be underway in terms of dealing with the homeless problem that we have?
Yeah. Homelessness and people experiencing homelessness deserve a solution and deserve support. I think that the Yakima Action Housing Plan is a great start, and I think we need to continue down that path to helping solve this issue. I think we need to really work on developing partnerships so that we can, like you said, the city's not the one building the houses, but we can make it easier for developers and other people to want to undertake those projects, make it attractive to them.
Right.
And so we need to look at common sense ways to do that through whatever avenues we have available to us as City Council to help solve that issue.
Income tax. How do you feel about the income tax and the city council maybe
Yep.
taking action in the future to ban income tax in Yakima?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't think the people of Yakima would ever vote for an income tax.
Right.
And I don't think it's a realistic resolution that would ever pass to implement an income tax on Yakima. So I think banning it one way or the other is not really going to matter because it would never pass here anyway. But as far as putting it on the ballot, I agree with putting it to a vote for the people, and we'll see where it goes from there.
How do you feel about that? I mean, there are issues that some of the legislative bodies will say it's not going to happen, so we don't want to deal with it. Others would say we should because it sends the message. There's value in some of the symbolism. Or what kind of a lawmaker would you be, do you think, or legislator for our city?
Yeah, I mean, you have to look at how much time these things are going to take, right? City Council is spending time to discuss it and talk about it when we could be focusing on other issues, right? Things that will make a tangible impact right here, right now. That being said, of course, there are situations where making that statement so that the public knows, hey, this is where we stand, is a good thing. With the income tax, like I said, I have no problem with it going on the ballot, them discussing it to put on there and putting it to the vote of the people.
One of the things that we've seen since I was on back in 2009 or whatever, is talk of votes for the people. The city council's job, you'd be elected to represent folks. Under what kind of circumstances do advisory votes seem to be a reasonable approach to you?
Yeah, I think that if it's something that is going to, really have a wide-reaching effect where, city council meetings, are not overly well attended unless there is a hot button issue on the agenda. It's a part-time job, so most of us will have other outside jobs. I'm going to make it every effort to make myself available to the community if I'm elected, more so than hopefully any other council member has ever done. But with these issues that are going to have these really far, wide-reaching effects, I think those are the ones where we can't reliably get a wide breadth of opinions from people, that we need to put it to a vote of the people.
You see it as a potentially important information gathering tool,
Yes.
given the structure of how
Yep.
people don't attend meetings and things like that.
Exactly.
All right. Very good.
7:57. We call this the elevator speech.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the elevator. Tell us why they should be voting for you. Why Yakima should be voting for Sam Johnson.
Absolutely. So
First, is that your real name? I mean, that does kind of sound like an alias, Sam. I'm just throwing that out there.
I would say, if you're like me and you agree that Yakima City Council needs somebody around the horseshoe that has real financial experience, small business experience, and a demonstrated commitment to the community, then I'm the person to earn your vote. I have 8.5 years of managing and regulating credit unions. I have owned a small business. I come from a family of small business owners. I have an MBA with a specialization in finance, and I serve on multiple boards across the community to help put community first. And I'd be honored if I can earn your vote for Yakima City Council, District 6.